Hi, welcome to You Can Do Medicine. My name's Tom and I'm a first year medical student here at Edinburgh University. We're really lucky today, we've got Sandy with us, and he's going to share his story of how he got into medical school.
Hiya, I'm Sandy. I'm a first year medical student at Edinburgh University, and I've just come straight out of school into medicine. I wanted to do medicine in primary seven. There was a few other jobs or careers that I wanted to go down before that, but I decided then that maybe medicine was the thing for me. And that idea of doing medicine continued with me throughout high school, where I took some preparations to go into medicine. I tried getting some work experience. Unfortunately, my work experience was planned the same week that the NHS stopped all surgeries in Scotland because of COVID. It was just in March 2020. So unfortunately, I didn't get any work experience, but I did an army work experience in the December 2019, and we had some basic first aid with the army and discussed the kind of career path of a army doctor, which I don't want to do, but it was still interesting to learn about. I decided in primary seven that I'd like to go into anaesthetics, and again, this hasn't changed. Although I've given it some consideration about other specialities, it's the one that I find the most interesting and the most appealing. And this semester, I'm doing a student selected component about the history of anaesthesia, and so we've looked at some devices or some devices in the past that would be used for anaesthetic purposes. What kind of anaesthetic gases are used today, and then Edinburgh's role and Scotland's role in anaesthesia and the history of it itself. I'm really enjoying the course so far. I like semester two a lot more. I think I'm very fortunate that our course is very sociable and we've got a lot of tutorials, so it's very easy to interact and get to know other people in the course, which I don't think is common in other degrees. I like the variability of medicine. I was expecting to do a lot more sciences and kind of focus more on anatomy and body functions, but instead we're looking at ethics and research within medicine and more geographical stuff. Like this semester, we're looking in that health inside of communities and the socioeconomic factors that play into a community's health and the people that live in it. For example, in some communities, they're more susceptible to cancer or disease due to the various factors they're in. I've really enjoyed my time in Edinburgh so far, and I've found it great to interact with so many different people from all walks of life. I think it's very interesting to learn a lot about new cultures and stuff, and also an educational setting. I decided that I wanted to do medicine, as I said in primary seven. I worked my way through that at high school. I did biology and chemistry, as well as some other subjects at higher level, and I continued biology and chemistry into my advanced hires. But I also did Spanish, which I thought was a fun hobby. Something that really appeals to me about medicine is being able to speak to people, and that was one of the main factors that drew me to it. Was it's although it may be an office job, you still get to interact with other human beings a lot, and that really appealed to me. I thought it was really, really interesting, and it's something that I quite like. And that was a big factor for medicine. And I thought that perhaps Spanish would help me with that in case I wanted to go into MSF in the future and work overseas. I found the UCAT quite challenging, as I'm sure a lot of people did. It was quite intense, but I think it's a necessary step to do a degree like medicine, as it shows a well-rounded character. And I think more importance should be placed on the ethical aspect of it, as that's a huge factor when you get into universities, focusing on the ethics of medicine and patient consent and autonomy. We focused a lot on autonomy. In fact, we had to write an ethics essay this semester, and one of the questions was about ethics. And I mean, obviously about ethics, it was about patient consent to do with the response of COVID, which is what I wrote on. But what is more important, patient autonomy or justice between patients, which I thought was a very interesting topic. Overall, I've been really enjoying my time here, and I've loved the extent of which I've learned and the how I've grown from interacting with people and the breadth of knowledge which we've been taught. For example, today we had an anatomy session on the trachea, and then we had a lecture on clinical pharmacology, and then a tutorial discussing how tobacco affected breast cancer. So it's really, really interesting, and I'm enjoying it so far. And I would recommend it to anyone who wants to pursue life in medicine.